have a friend that teaches special needs preschool. She had a baby in April last year, and she had to find her own maternity leave stuff.
Didn't she have to also prepare her lesson plans and make the copies and?
Yeah, and she's walking around 8.5 months pregnant with a special needs 3-year-old.
But now, these long-term subs are taking on that role, developing lesson plans they may or may not be qualified to do.
I should also point out the current legislature and governor's solution to this issue was not to increase education funding, but was to make it possible to hire individuals who, I don't want to say this, who
Alternative certification.
alternative certification, basically to make emergency certs real again, for those of you who remember those days. Just on the camera.
They lowered the certification bar significantly.
To nothing. To nothing.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, if you can stand unassisted, you can pretty much get a teaching license in the state of Arizona.
What? Wait, what? You can what?
If you can stand unassisted, you can pretty much get a teaching license in the state of Arizona.
Get out. Really? I'm just saying, like an English major, an art major.
Any bachelor's, right? Any bachelor's?
Yeah.
Any bachelor's.
English and art?
So,
I might think about it.
we talked about some of the building issues. Do we have? I mean, we have a bachelor's degree. We have buildings in our district that we can't use because we can't renovate them. We don't have the money to renovate and update them to use them. We need the space. We have the square footage. We don't have usable space.
What is an override?
I'm not sure what the difference between a bond and an override is.
Override is
Well,
specific rules for the M&O and the capital overrides. Basically, you're charging people on the property taxes. It's the ability to use property taxes to go to the school district.
Right, and it has to be voted in.
And it's outside of bond,
Yes.
right?
Override is for typically it's teacher pay.
So at one point, Kingman, as I understand, Kingman had a property tax.
We have a school property tax. We have property taxes right now that go to the unified school district.
If you live in the city.
No, anywhere in the school district. So people live in the county have a property tax, and a portion of that goes to Kingman.
She's talking about the city of Kingman.
Yeah, the city of Kingman does not. They get
Never
the
had,
county.
never
It
had.
goes to county.
Yeah,
Right.
because we're hearing rumor that at one point Kingman had a property tax.
That is council voted.
But why did that stop? That's what I don't understand.
The council voted for it.
But why? What was it that motivated them to give up money like
That's
that?
a really good question. I think like a lot of these legislative things that are happening, it's like, why would you do that?
Exactly.
Right.
I mean,
I don't
there's
think
no,
we have
it
an
doesn't make any sense
No,
at all.
it doesn't. It really
Listen,
doesn't.
one of the original booms in tourism spending, and there's a lot of data that's still floating around from that era, that tourism supports our property tax, as well as the property tax. So they were able to just take advantage of that with the tourist butcher bill, and they're putting it in.
But the tourist tax is not, the allocation to schools is not equal to what the property tax.
The school does get property, yes, and we have gone to bond, but we have not done an override before to supplement it.
Some of the schools that are falling apart, we hear about in Phoenix Valley, they've maxed out their override capability. Our district is in a good position because that is our last resort. I think the kind of schools that we need to still have that option on the table. We have not used it.
Right.
And is there a cap on the override?
Yes. I can't explain that.
So I'm sorry to interrupt, but in the interest of time and allowing Susan to leave at some point, we should probably kind of hold some of the discussion and let her at least get through her slide deck.
Okay.
I don't know where you're at, and I don't want to.
We're getting pretty close.
I'm not trying to rush you, I just want to make sure that we're not keeping you longer.
He's our timekeeper.
They're so lovely.
Just saying,
These are
sorry.
lovely.
So since 2009, we've topped over $2 billion in cuts. Capital expenses for school districts, this blows my mind. state is required to fund $450 per elementary student, $490 per high school student for building and maintenance. But they are currently only paying that amount.
And that's okay because why? And why aren't people fighting against that?
Yes,
In the Arizona State Constitution, I'm gonna find
yes,
this.
and that's 1980s figures, and they have not changed since the 1980s. And of course, you know,
And why isn't the state of Arizona fighting back to try to get back that residual income?
Because all taxes are communist.
Also, I think honestly,
No, no,
part of what we're here
I
tonight is
mean-
that people don't know this. People are not
Yeah.
aware that these are,
Well,
this
this-
is how dire our situation is.
Yeah.
They don't know the facts. They hear like whiny teachers walking out because,
Right.
you know, they're not getting paid enough.
But if this is the law, and this is the way it is, and it's in black and white, and we are 20 years forward in the future, why are we not all rallying together? Why not? I mean, we rally for women's rights, and we
but let
rally
me
for all
just
these other
say,
things.
we
Why
have
are we
one
not?
of the largest, most consistent rural standout presence during the teacher walkout.
But why are we not suing the federal, why are we not suing the federal government the way, I don't know,
This is a state.
everybody seems to be suing the federal government and walking the White House lawn.
Well, we
Everybody
already
does.
sued the
It's
state,
par for the
though.
We
course.
have to sue the state for this.
And we did,
Yeah,
right?
now we got 70 cents on the dollar out of our own savings account.
Yeah.
And how'd that work for us?
This just tells the difference between charter and public district schools.
Right.
They are both public schools funded with public money. Some of the transparency laws are not the same for charter schools as they are for district schools.
So
but
this
you're-
would be people who are using their vouchers to pay for charter and
No,
private
that's
schools?
private.
Okay.
Our charter schools in the state that have integrity, that are good, are transparent.
Are charter schools still privately owned and operated?
Yes.
Which means they have a privately owned and operated educational agenda. Is that correct? As long as they fit into a certain state and federal criteria,
But they still
am I
have to-
correct?
they still
Which
have
means
to
they're
go
still, which means they're still for profit.
They still have to go by state standards and they do.
But they're
have rules
still
and
for profit.
Yes.
Not all of them,
Not all.
not all.
I'm
They
only
are
asking-
required to
The
be
vast majority of
nonprofit.
charter schools are actually not.
Yes,
Okay, they're nonprofit.
right.
Okay.
They're still a public school.
Right.
But there's a difference, legally, there's a difference between nonprofit and not-for-profit.
I understand that because coming from Oregon where there were charter schools everywhere and everyone had their own little niche.
Charter schools that, there are charter schools, a lot of charter schools, that are pushing for more transparency, for more accountability. But the ones that want less have the deeper pockets. And they're getting the laws passed at this point.
And they have their own private agenda.
They can.
Right. They can.
This is the difference between revenues for public and charter schools. The biggest difference is that charter schools do not get local property tax. All of their funding comes directly from the state budget. Kingdom Unified has property tax plus the equalization. And we also have the ability to put forward an override or a bond, which is also a very expensive proposition.
Okay.
Private schools, this is where your STOs and your ESAs come in. And whereas tax credits for public district schools and public charter schools are capped at $400 for a couple, $200 for an individual, for a private school, you can receive up to $2,000 in tax credit as an individual.
this is what you have to worry about.
Yes.
Funding away from public
Yes.
education.
Right,
Like
right.
public schools and public
Right.
choice.
Yeah.
This is the.
Public money
this
needs
is
to
the
be in
problem.
public schools.
This
Yeah,
this is a Betsy DeVos thing.
Right.
It's exactly
It
what it
is.
is.
It's
That's
exactly
exactly what it is.
what it is.
Are
Yeah.
these schools are not required to be secular, are they?
No, they're not.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem.
They're not sorority schools.
They can be technical, they can be
But it's-
military, they
right.
can be religious.
It is
and they
whatever
can
you,
just be
it is
secular
basically whatever
education.
you're
It can be
paying
anything
for.
you want to
We'd
pay
be
for.
teaching underwater BB stacking.
It is whatever you're
They
paying
they
for.
can be religious, not all are, but they can.
Underwater basket weaving, it's whatever you're paying for.
These are the things
Yeah,
you're
but most all.
guaranteed if your
Yeah.
child or your students that go to a public school, a public district school are guaranteed these things. Many public charter schools also provide these, but they are not required. And in public schools, you have public schools everywhere. If you live in Mayview, there's a public school that will come pick you up and take you to school.
And more importantly, which I think is critical in this day and age, public schools have to identify and evaluate students with special needs. That is paramount to transitioning these children into the social structure of the future of our country. End of story.
Exactly.
It's critical. It's critical.
One thing that was super, so when a lot of us were going around and collecting signatures to get 305 put on the ballot, one thing that was amazing to me is they said, okay, this $2,000, so your kid gets $2,000, this kid gets $2,000, this is how they explain the empowerment scholarships. And they say that, so if your kid doesn't go, we'll take that $2,000 out. But they don't say that it's really just a pot that all the money goes into.
Right.
And if your kid has special needs, they need this much money, this much services, and this kid may not need that much money. And so when you take out money for
Then
each
another
individual
kid does not
kid,
qualify on some
then
level.
it's taking from a pot, it's not taking
Right.
each child that needs this much to be
Right.
educated. So a homeschool or a group or something could have 5 kids and they could take $10,000 from the system for these kids. So it doesn't work.
But the problem with that is that you also run into the situation where people who are given vouchers of money to teach their kids who don't. They buy big screen TVs and they do.
There is abuse in every system.
Okay.
Not everyone abuses it, but there is abuse in every system. You know, you can argue that there's been the argument that administrators take the money that the state gives them and put it on administration, it doesn't go to the teachers. That's not happening here.
There's no money to give
But I
to teachers
can't-
to let
but I can't tell
them
you
screw
where-
off with it.
I can't tell you that it's not happening somewhere.
Right.
So Susan, the public school guarantees, these don't apply fully to charter schools.
They do not. Many charter schools do adhere to this, but they are not required to.
Which leaves a huge gray area of them to pick and choose how
Which
they
is-
want
is
to
why-
either appropriate their funds or appropriate their energy in terms of their curriculum, in terms of their
And let me just
teaching
say-
curriculum and teachers and all that kind of stuff.
And let me just say, I am not anti-charter at all. They get public money. I want to keep public money in public schools.
Right.
And I fully support charters that are willing to be transparent and accountable and adhere to these guidelines, same as public schools.
Okay, do special needs students require more money per student?
Special needs students do require more money per student. They need physical therapy, they need occupational therapy, they need speech therapy, they need smaller class sizes, they need more specialized
Relational
instruction.
therapy, they need relational therapy. It is what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do require more money.
And it is not compensated through the budget.
No, it is not.
Well, right, and if you look at this, what you see is that charter schools aren't required to do these more expensive things. Public schools are required to do them.
Actually, charters are, but they can manipulate it so they don't accept those kids into their.
Right, exactly. So that's the, I mean, so they can get out of doing these.
I mean, from my experience, not all of that is true. Charter is not having to, but I do not have the authority to speak on that, but I do know people who do.
You're right. There's a lot of variation in charges in terms of what they actually do, how on the up and up they are. But it's what's required of them that's kind of the issue.
And that is a good question, and I wish I had the authority.
Well,
to
they
answer
do,
that
right?
as well, but I do know people who do.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I'd like to.
And there are charters that actually
Yeah.
provide very good special education services. And then there are charters that don't.
And actually, the truth of the matter is that charters provide special ed services for their students. Traditional public schools provide it. If you are a private school, the home school district is required by law to provide a certain level of service to those private school students.
From the public,
From the
Yes.
system.
Yes.
And they do not get ADM money for that child. So, they don't.
If you homeschool your child and they have special needs that are provided in the public school system, you are entitled to those services without paying for them.
With,
That's
not on the same level that you are entitled to some of those services. It comes out of their special ed grant money.
So even if you get an ESA, you're sending your kid to a private school, public school
In that district.
in that district, whichever district they're in, is still required to provide
Proportionately, they get,
proportionately
yes.
services.
Even after you got your voucher.
Even after,
Oh, yeah.
and your S2A tax credit.
Okay,
And you're,
excuse me,
So, yes,
yeah, I don't know anything about the schools here. I just want to know how ADA friendly are they? Like, do they have ramps? Do they have electric doors? Because I noticed a lot in Arizona that Arizona is not ADA friendly.
really?
Yeah.
I would say moderately, not extremely, but moderately. If that makes any sense.
But they only have to be reasonable.
Right. I mean, I know in my school, we don't have the automatic electric doors.
And part of that is because they haven't done major renovations in forever.
Because there's no funding for it.
Right, so
There's no funding. It doesn't mean they don't want it. It doesn't mean it's not mandated. There's no funding.
Their grandfather
Right, there's no funding.
until.
If they had to do major renovations, they would be required to comply with the ETA, which they probably, some of them probably need to do major renovations, but they don't have the money.
Again,
Right.
funding.
Yeah, because
I'd also like to see if they had to do major renovations to consider additional school safety initiatives employed.
Yeah, because my mom is in a wheelchair, and when I take her around, it is a hassle.
Yes.
It is a major hassle getting her through all the doors, and some of them don't even have ramps, they got to pull up and curbs.
My dad was in a wheelchair the last year and a half he was alive, and it was a nightmare. This is my last slide. So, what can you do? Most of all, educate yourself. Educate people you have conversations with. Go to parent organization meetings. Go to local school board meetings. Go listen to the candidates. Read everything you can about them. What they say, what other people say. If somebody's an incumbent, look at their voting record. If they're running for a new office, but they've held an office somewhere else, look at their voting record. Look at the events that they're involved with, the things that they support. If they circulated petitions for initiatives, look at what they're supporting on initiatives. Please help us elect people to our legislature that care about the state of our state.